Spency boy took the Lipton to Oakland. Sexton, what are you doing? Oh my gosh, bros. Oh my gosh, bros. There's your little cheat code to get the start anytime you're playing one of these milestone games, okay? Whoo! Okay. If you know, you know what I mean, bro. Alrighty, so this needs to be said to some of you boys. This truth needs to be said right here, even for some of you that don't want to hear it, okay? It's not the bike with Chase Sexton. To whoever needs to hear this truth right now, it is not the bike with Chase Sexton, bro. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, can't put the blame on you. Fool me three times, the peace on blood, chop, let it rain on you, bro. Woo! Listen, this is not the first time. This is not the second time. This isn't even the first time this season. This is 2 times back-to-back in 2 main events. He's done it many times before. It gets to the point where you just can't blame the bike anymore. You can't do that. I don't know why this seems to happen every time there's like a really popular rider, or there was a lot of people that thought a certain rider was going to do a lot better than they really are. And you know, it gets that point where people are trying to defend their predictions about Chase Sexton, so then they got to try to jump into all these sort of weird defenses like, well, I just think it's the bike with Chase Sexton, bro. Like, I've already seen some tweets on Twitter about that shit. By the way, be sure to go follow me up on Twitter, Spencer Turley, no space and no capital letters. You already know, okay? Listen. It is not the bike at this point. You are defending to the maximum defending if you're trying to say that it is the bike with Sexton at this point. He's been doing this for years. He's not just done this once or twice or a handful of times. I mean, it is literally like it's to the point where, by the way, Spency boy gonna pull off a Sexton in the main event right here, okay? It's to the point where I feel like it's been roughly, and don't quote me on this, but just from my, Spency boy tea-sipping memory, okay, it seems like in my head, I'm going to come out and say 90% of the time where Sexton is leading a 450 main event and it just looks like he's going to pull away and win the shit, 90% of the time he crashes out. That's not the bike anymore. That is the rider. That is the mental state of the rider. That's just what it is. I don't know where all this weird defense comes from, guys. I really don't know, but people are doing it with Ken Roczen on this Suzuki. It's so funny how they try to play both sides of the coin, too. It's like, back before the season started, all these Roczen fanboys and everybody that had Roczen all overhyped, like he was going to go out there and win 4+ main events, all that type of shit. They were acting like the bike was going to be what allowed Roczen to be good again. They wanted to talk about, well, Roczen's going to be like he was on that Suzuki before. Whoa, you better watch out, Roczen on that Suzuki, bro. Now everybody wants to defend Roczen by saying, well, it's the bike, bro. They want to turn around and try to act like it's the bike, bro. Meanwhile, at the start of the season, they wanted to act like the bike was going to be the whole, saving grace, absolutely breath of fresh air to Roczen's career. And now they want to turn around and act like the bike is the whole problem. The bike is the whole reason why Roczen can't do very good. You boys are going to have to stop that shit. You're going to have to stop it. You're doing it with Roczen. You're doing it with Sexton. Holy shit, and I can understand the bike thing a little bit more with Roczen than I can with Sexton. It is not the bike with Sexton. It is not. I promise you. I promise you, bro. There's something going on in Sexton's head mentally, because you could just see it. He almost made a mistake in the Dragon's back like 2 or 3 corners before he actually crashed off the bike in Oakland. So he just seems to get to this point when he gets out front in a 450 main event. I don't know if it's the pressure. I don't know what it is. If it's just a slight little lapse of, judgment. It's all about how fast you're going. Ooh, look. Even Ricky and some of them boys in the broadcast booth were talking about, oh, wow, look at Sexton. Like, he's kind of pulling away from Tomac. Man, this is going to be rough for Tomac if he just can't find that speed that he has to find to catch Sexton. Everybody wants to try to put Sexton on this pedestal when he starts going, however much faster than Tomac in a certain main event, but then he turns around and crashes every time he does it. What? It's just like, bro, this is not just about speed. And I feel like Cooper Webb is the perfect example of that. Nobody talks about how Cooper Webb is this lightning fast, crazy fast guy on the bike, but by golly, he's there at the end of the main event damn near every time you have a main event. You know what I mean? It's like, we're going to have to stop thinking that this is all about speed in Supercross. I don't know why that seems to be the big thing. And this is the other thing that worries me a little bit about people like Hayden Deegan that, have all those super close moments and crashes, and like in his first pro motocross race, completely wadding his shit up and crashing out of that future Supercross race, almost crashing in his first pro Supercross race, going out there and crashing, flipping over the bike in his second pro Supercross race and qualifying. Everybody wants to try to say these things like, well, you're not going fast unless you're crashing. You're not trying unless you're crashing. Okay, well then would you say that about Sexton at this point? Oh, it's crickets. Oh, it's silence. Oh, would you say that about a guy like Adam Cianciarulo or Ken Roczen that have crashed to the point to where they're not even the same riders anymore because they've injured their bodies to the point where they can't even ride the bike the same way anymore? Oh, boy, that conversation changes so quick, doesn't it? It's all fine and dandy when these boys are out there crashing and not getting injured. Then everybody wants to say, yeah, it's okay to crash. Or, when you're on an 85cc bike and you lay it over in a corner, oh, that's cute. That kid crashed and he's trying to go fast. That's cute. Oh, we have got to stop that. As a motocross community, we have got to stop that because it's teaching all these kids that it's okay to crash. It's just fine to crash. And then you get to this point where you got guys like Sexton all the way in the 450 class, and they can't even get through a 450 main event leading without crashing out of it. Like, bro. Oh my gosh. But I just love the hypocrisy. It's almost like to the point where, anytime you want to predict something about one of these beloved riders, anytime you want to predict something, towards the negative side, or that you don't think they're going to be as good, or you think they're going to have some of the same problems that they had before, then you're looked at as a hater. Even though it can be true, entirely true predictions, all that stuff I was saying about Sexton before the season started, talking about just because you can do really good in outdoors doesn't mean it's going to instantly carry over to Supercross. He's known for crashing in main events. These are all the things that I was saying about Sexton before the season started, but everybody and their grandmother wanted to act like, oh, you're just a hater, bro. You don't know what you're talking about. Even with my predictions about Ken Roczen. Me talking about he would be lucky just to win one main event in 2023 Supercross on that Suzuki. Oh, you're just a hater, bro. You're just a hater. You don't know what you're talking about. You're just a negative Nelly all the time hater, bro. But it's funny how now all that's coming true. All those things about Sexton, it couldn't be coming more true if it tried. All those things about Roczen not really being the same rider. He's not going to go out there and win 4+ main events. He has no chance in hell in winning the championship. all those things are coming true, you know, and it's like everybody wants to act like I'm such a hater for even predicting those things in the first place, like I'm doubting these riders or something like that. Whenever I say that they're overhyped or they're overrated. I remember making that Ken Roczen Suzuki overrated video. Okay, but now all the truth is coming out about everything that I was saying about all that. And now people want to jump in here and try to act like I'm dogpiling or bro, you just want to come in here and point out their mistakes and you know, it's like if you're negative about a prediction, people are going to hate on you even if it's true, even if it comes true. Listen, guys, at the end of the day, here's the difference in me and a lot of these different like fanboys slash haters slash whatevers, okay? I just look at the history of what these riders have done previously. I don't let any of my emotions get involved. I don't let any of this weird like hype train, you know, media hype trains. That's all Ken Roczen on the Suzuki was a big media hype train. He built up all this hype, crazy hype going to all these different bikes, and he wanted to act like he just selected the Suzuki and it got everybody all, you know, hyped up out of their panties like he was going to go out there and be just like he was on that Suzuki before or some shit. Bro, it's like this endless, you know, media tries to get you hyped up. You know, the fans try to get you hyped up. And then a lot of you boys jump on those hype trains. You jump on those bandwagons. And the reality of it is, the better way to look at everything is to look at the history books. That's going to tell you more than anything, you know? I don't let these emotions get to me when it comes to these riders. I don't really have like I think this guy's going to do something because I'm a big fan of the rider or something like that. I just look for the truth. That's all I look for, bro. That's it. That's all I look at is what they've done in the past, you know, their track record. A lot of you fans of these certain riders, it's like you'll sweep that track record completely under the rug. You know, it's like, oh, let's just believe that this rider is not that guy that he proved to be for like the past 3 or 4 years. That's exactly what's going on with Sexton and Roczen right now. Roczen hasn't really proved to be the man over the past 3 or 4 years. He's been on this downward trend ever since his arm injuries. He's not that same Ken Roczen. And the more that you guys try to believe that, the more and the more he proves that he's not that. You know? And then he goes to a more so like a privateer style bike, not even a full-blown factory team. I understand he's getting some factory support on that Suzuki, but like, there was no reason to think that Ken Roczen was going to go out there and be this whole new rider and go out there and win 4+ main events. And, you know, and it goes back with Sexton too. Even though he can go out there in outdoors, which Cooper Webb wasn't even a part of. You know, a lot of the riders that are there in Supercross right now weren't even there in outdoors this last year. You know, just because, you know, Chase Sexton can go out there and run with Tomac in outdoors for one motocross season doesn't mean that he can go out there and do that exact thing in Supercross. You know what I mean? It's just like, I don't know. I feel like Chase Sexton did not prove enough in 450 Supercross to have the hype level that he had coming into this season. Ken Roczen did not prove enough in 450 Supercross, especially if you look at what he's done the past couple years and the downward slope of his career, okay, ever since those arm injuries. There was no reason to think that Ken Roczen was going to go out there and be some magical, completely different rider. Like, there was just no reason to think that. Neither one of them boys proved enough to have the hype level that they had coming into the season. Okay?